Wait, this is a Hasan video.
Against soldiers, I'm like
54-minute video. There's no way that there's a whole video about the USS Liberty. Don't make me do this. Wait, what video is he watching on this?
Was even sworn in as president. Lyndon Baines Johnson was feeling just as angry and indefensible. Walker Bush oral history. Bob Gates.
The name of the video is How Israel the United States.
In July.
From GDF. Is this like a big Middle Eastern, pro-Middle Eastern or Arab account? I feel like I've seen this before, but maybe I'm making this up. Why America really supports Israel. Debunking ancient Israel. This guy's a groiper? How ethnic cleansing created Israel. Debunking human shields. Easy. The Iraq War wasn't about oil. It was about Israel. Who really controls U.S. foreign policy? How Kashmiris got so good at smoking Indian soldiers. Debunking Israel's defense speedrun. Life in Israel's Guantanamo Bay. How Haiti got so good at smoking French soldiers. How the Lebanese got so good at smoking American soldiers. Jesus Christ. The conflict based on a lie. How the Viet Cong smoked American soldiers. How Israel lies about literally everything. How Iraqis got so good at smoking American soldiers. How the Fed keeps you poor. Holy fuck. Jesus Christ. Okay. Okay, all right, well, good. Okay, good research channel. All right.
Many others. No doubt 2 decades before Bush was even sworn in as president, Lyndon Baines Johnson was feeling just as angry and ineffectual. It was the morning of June 8, 1967. Navy Ensign John Dietrich Scott turned 24 years old. His birthday was business as usual. His crew was stationed in the Mediterranean after having traveled all the way from West Africa. It was an early morning. Just before 4 a.m., he'd get to work. Deck watch. At about the exact same time, a Nord Atlas took to the sky to begin an...
Wait. I hope nothing crazy happens to the USS Liberty. Especially not in the hands of our most significant, most important ally, which is not even an ally at all, but just a mere extension of the U.S. state.
Just to be clear, in '67, Israel was absolutely not a U.S. ally and was absolutely not an extension of the U.S. state. We didn't begin hardcore support of Israel until 6 years later in '73 for Yom Kippur. So that was a totally ahistorical statement, but okay.
An air reconnaissance patrol. The plane, belonging to the Israeli Air Force, was patrolling along the Mediterranean coast to detect ships beyond radar range. There was only one. It was Navy Ensign Scott's ship. On the bridge, Scott spotted the plane. He grabbed his binoculars to get a better view. A flying boxcar with a double fuselage and twin engines. Just 15 minutes before, Scott had watched the ship's American flag being pulled by the wind. Up in the cockpit of the Nord Atlas, an Israeli naval officer scanned below, serving as an aerial observer. At 5:45, the plane began reporting that the ship was a destroyer. Less than 20 minutes later, though, according to an official Israeli history, the plane reported that it was, in fact, a U.S. Navy supply ship. The observer had even spotted the ship's hull markings, GTR-5, and the plane's crew radioed the information to ground control. Upon landing, the observer was debriefed by a Lieutenant Commander Pinchasi of Air Command, after which, according to an official Israeli inquiry, the identification of the ship was determined to be the U.S. Navy ship Liberty. Hi, my name is GDF, and you can probably tell by the direction that this video is going in that I'm not very advertiser-friendly. For that reason, I rely completely on my patrons, subscribers, and donations.
Wait, how long is this video? Wait, wasn't this video like 45 minutes? Is his react just...
In July...
Oh, 41 minutes.
Hours before the attack, Israel knew not only that an American ship sailed nearby, but that it was the spy ship Liberty. Aboard the USS Liberty was a Signals Intelligence and Cryptology Command called the Naval Security Group, an organization which reported to the National Security Agency, the NSA.
It was a spy ship. Yeah, for the NSA. The problem is, it was spying at the behest of the Israeli government. It's not like it's...
What? What? Source? Crack pipe?
I mean, there's no world in which, like, blowing up that ship is allowed or correct. It's just extra funny that they did it, even though they are allies.
NSA.
Oh, fuck, I just gave...
No, we were not allies in '67. Why does he keep saying that? That's not true.
Give you spoilers, God damn it.
Outfitted with 45 towering antennas and a satellite dish on the ship's stern which bounced messages off the moon to Washington, the ship's true mission was a poorly kept secret.
Ugliest ship in the Navy, and the most unusual, and therefore the easiest of all ships to recognize.
The ship's captain, William McGonigal, would later testify that the configuration of the ship with unusual mast antennae arrangements had resulted in some surveillance from the Southwest African countries during its first 2 deployments. Its usual stomping grounds. African art and masks decorated the ship's walls. Summer 1967 was supposed to entail steaming off to Angola, Liberia, and Gabon. From the port of Abidjan, however, the ship received new marching orders. Late spring saw things heat up rapidly in the peninsula. Each day, and the west, we shall see. The ship's infirmed table 1. Whether and these were not overt, particularly because shot 4 foe. A sinkings came at seas.
Really just means that, like, any shit, it doesn't really matter.
Just before
U.S. Navy vet here, this incident is why the U.S. doesn't sail spy ships anymore, so extremely very ultra-rare Israeli W. I mean, it doesn't really matter because aren't all the Navy ships functionally spy ships now anyway? It just means that, like, any ship that the Navy flies is no longer a civilian vessel, but instead directly just a vehicle for war.
Different... I'm so sorry, I can't watch this. Different vessels, whether you're talking about ships or airplanes or whatever, it can be outfitted for different missions, and it's probably important. You have different types of crews, and you've got different capabilities. Like, to say every ship is a spy ship, I mean, what? Because they all have radar, or they all have a guy on board to do signal analysis, or they like, I can't do this. I can't do it. It's too early for Hasan videos. Okay, I can't. I'm sorry. I'm not strong enough. I'm not strong enough today. I can't do it. Goddamn, every time Destiny shows blind spots and limitations, something like this from the most popular left political streamer shows up. Wait, what? Also, holy shit, they found Assad? All Navy ships can probably carry out clandestine operations, but they aren't all spy ships. There's no way that's true. It might be true. I don't know much, but my guess is you probably outfit different ships with different types of crew that have different capabilities on the ships, that have different, like, defensive, offensive, like, analysis capability. I seriously doubt every piece of equipment and every crew member is duplicated across. Although these days, I don't think we even sail. These days, actually, we probably don't even sail individual ships that much, right? Isn't everything based around this concept of, like, carrier fleets? Destiny, can you elaborate on the Israeli-U.S. relationship in '67? I don't think Israel had an official friendly relationship with any country by '67, except for maybe France. We probably sold weapons to them. I think they were buying weapons from countries. This stupid Saddam. This is Saddam Hussein, right? Is where this meme came from. What a horrible... Jesus. Fuck that. Wasn't it the Soviets who warned Israel that an attack was coming from the Arabs? No, actually, the Soviets warned Egypt that Israel was about to launch an attack on Syria, I believe, but that wasn't true. And then some people try to say that that's actually why Egypt started to take a more aggressive posture, but this was a really easy thing to verify, and I don't think that's true, so I don't know. Assad flew back to Syria from Russia after the rebels started fighting again, and dude's got a death wish. Good for him. Hey, at least he's on the ground. At least he's over there. I mean that you occasionally show a surprising gap in knowledge, whereas Hasan is an utter imbecile. Okay. Wasn't Israel originally closer to the Soviet Union at first because of labor Zionism? No, absolutely not. They might have started off with kind of more of a like the socialist Zionist ideology, the labor Zionism stuff, but like borders and countries and stuff going on the ground is really, really important too. Like people don't just align on ideology. There's other stuff going on as well. And I don't think Israel was ever fancied itself close to the Soviet Union. They smuggled weapons out of Czechoslovakia in 1947, but I don't think that I don't think Israel's ever saw itself as close to. John Turturro talks scene-stealing role in The Big Lebowski and his enduring relationship with the Coen brothers. Why was I link this? Was I link this? I don't even know why this is open. Does anyone have the clips of Destiny where he guesses every country name from the maps and flags? Getting tired of that he can't find Israel on the map talking points? Don't even engage. There's no point in engaging. Nobody believes that. Nobody believes that I don't know where countries are. It's that you're buying into the fasci framework or whatever you call it by even engaging in the argument. Because if that was true, I'll say this till I die. If you really truly thought that I was that retarded, you would want to debate me. You'd say like, oh, Destiny, why don't you hop on a Discord call and let's chat? Because you would make me look like an utter fool. That should always be the number one question in your mind, right? Like if I'm out here saying like, this guy is so fucking stupid and he's like a big content creator and then people are like, oh, you should go debate. I'm like, well, I don't need to talk to him. No, what the fuck? If there's a dipshit with a big audience, of course I want to debate this guy a million times. I'm going to cannibalize your whole audience, of course. It should always heuristically be a huge red flag to you when somebody's accusing a huge creator of being stupid, but then not actually wanting to engage with that creator, in my opinion. Or at least if they have a more aggressive personality. I could understand if you're like a video essayist that never does anything like that, then maybe they wouldn't want to, but maybe. Around 48, they were pretty close. Ben-Gurion mentioned that he will always be thankful to the Russian prime minister for acknowledging Israel in the UN, first out of all the countries. I mean, okay, for what that's worth, sure. Would you engage with every tiny streamer who thought you were dumb, though? Well, one, I'm not a tiny streamer, so that analogy breaks completely. And two, don't I? I generally do debate a lot of people, so even though your analogy doesn't hold, I mean, I do debate a ton of people, including much smaller streamers, all the time, so. The Soviet relationship with Israel collapsed after 48 almost immediately. The Soviets were very distrustful of Jews at the time and were annoyed when the Israelis asked them to let Jews emigrate. The Israelis then became a major source for intelligence against the Soviets because there were so many Jews still in the Soviets that were persecuted. Nice. Not an analogy. Literally, would you debate like 100 view streamers? I mean, it depends on the person, but yeah, I mean, usually, yeah. I mean, like I've dragged up a ton of people to argue. I mean, it just depends on what the subject is or what somebody wants to argue with, but ace this to prove your knowledge. I don't remember. Oh, these aren't even flags. These are just country names. Okay. Click on Iran.
JCPenney is all about the deals.
Now they're giving America
a really big deal.
Are you ready?
Spend $50 on gift cards, get a 10 off.
Okay. I think Iran has they went to war with Iraq. Oh shit, hold on. Iran. It's like Saudi Arabia. Oh fuck, okay. Turkey. They control the sea that Russia wants to go through a lot. Here? Or here? Oh, fuck. Okay. The UAE, the United Arab Emirates. So it's like all of them united. Like in this place? No. Fuck. Okay, hold on. Egypt is where all the Jews left. They probably had to walk really far. So I think it was like... Fuck. Hold on. Sorry, hold on. Saudi Arabia was King Saud. They fought with Yemen. They probably have an island. That's why they don't get invaded a lot. Fuck. Okay, hold on. Okay, Qatar is where the soccer games are. Fuck. Hold on. Yemen is where the Houthis are, and they fight with Israel a lot, so probably over here? Fuck, hold on. Okay, Lebanon, tree, so probably a more temperate climate. Fuck, hold on. Israel. I mean, we landed in the airport there. Fuck, hold on. Kuwait is one of those countries. Oh, fuck, hold on. Jordan, isn't this just a guy's name? Oh, fuck, hold on. Okay, Syria. Was it right here, right? Oh, fuck, hold on. Okay, Cyprus. Oh, it's got the shape of it on the fucking flag. This is an easy one. Like this, basically, right? Fuck, hold on. Oh, man. Because you're in the middle of the ocean. Oh, man. Oh, no, fuck. Okay, hold on. Bahrain. Oh, my God, I just clicked it. Fuck. Here, okay. Oh, I should have only gotten Israel. True. Can we watch the new Perun video on nukes? Maybe. How does that count as 22%? That's a good question, actually. I do mix up these guys sometimes. Bahrain, Qatar, and the UAE. Cyprus is the island guy. Yemen is down here. You should know that Yemen is here because the port of Aden and all this is down here, and they're able to exert control over this strait. Is it called the Strait of Djibouti, I think? Because Eritrea or whatever is over here, and Djibouti is here. Iran is just fucking huge, and they're the gateway over here to the east. Jordan, this whole thing used to be the British mandate for Transjordan. It was called Transjordan because it was to the left and right of the Jordan River, and then it got shrunk down to Jordan. Then they had a mandate for Palestine over here. Syria, remember, warm water ports for Russia is very important, so they're open to the ocean here. Qatar and Bahrain. I think Bahrain is the smaller one, so I think this is Qatar, yeah. Egypt is in Africa here. The Jews walked all the way from Egypt to Israel, according to the Bible, although there's absolutely no evidence of that whatsoever. Israel's our dude here. I don't know why Turkey changed its name. Constantinople, I think, was the gateway to Europe. It's called Istanbul now. I don't know why or when that changed. The Emiratis, the United Arab Emirates, is this little chunk of land here. I don't know anything about any of the Gulf history. I don't know what these countries have done for 100 years. I truly don't know. I truly do not know. Lebanon is here, originally conceived of, I think, as like a tri-minority state. Like they were supposed to have Christians, Muslims, and who else? Wait, what was the other group supposed to be in Lebanon? There were 3 groups, right? Jews in Lebanon? That many? Oh, maybe was it Druze? I don't know if there were ever that many. 1/3 Shia, 1/3 Sunni, and 1/3 Christians. Oh, maybe that was the divide. The biggest difference between Sunni and Shia, or I think the founding difference is, I think Sunnis believe that Muhammad didn't declare a direct descendant to inherit his holiness or some bullshit. And I believe that on the Shia side, I think Shias do believe that you can trace down the lines of descendant from Muhammad, I believe, is the difference. So I think, like, is it Khamenei or whatever? Is he supposed to be that? Something like that. I don't remember 100%. I don't know the difference. I don't know much about Islam. But Lebanon is this little dude up here. You should know that because they border Israel. There's I always forget the name of it. There's a famous river that they fight over to the north and south of it a lot. I think I've asked Lunderbox this question like 15 times. I'll remember the name of this river. We have to push them back off I'm not going to remember the name of it. The river. It's not the Tirite, the Euphrates, no. The Litani. I think it's the Litani River, yeah. Or it might be Litany. I think it's Litani River. They fight over on the southern part of Lebanon, northern part of Israel, because Hezbollah moves up closer and closer all the time. Also, remember, Hezbollah occupies basically all of southern Lebanon. Kuwait was invaded by Iraq. Some people say because Kuwait was corrupt and was fucking over Iraq. Other people say that it's because Iraq owed Kuwait a ton of money. They couldn't pay it back. So Saddam was like, oh, let me just go and eat all your shit. Saudi Arabia is this huge fucking country. I'm not fully convinced that it's a real place. Supposedly it's a big country. Supposedly they have an air force and military, but I don't know what influence they exert anywhere. I truly don't know. I truly have no idea. Every single day passes and I'm further convinced that Saudi Arabia is not a real country. It doesn't have a real military. It doesn't have a real anything. All that happens is Iran attacks them sometimes, and supposedly they've been locked in a civil war. Not a civil war, but they've been fighting down here because the Houthis occupy this northern part of Yemen, but Saudi Arabia can't blow them all up. I don't know. I honestly don't know what happens in Saudi Arabia. I don't know if this is a real country or not. I truly don't know. Iraq, remember, it's part of your Shia axis of Iran, Iraq, and Syria. Iraq and Iran fought a really brutal war in, what was the year? The Iraq-Iran war. I don't remember. Was it 79? I should know this. This is a really big war. It was 82, maybe? Oh no, it was 80, 1980 to 1988. This was I think over 1 million people were killed. This is a big war. How the fuck did the U.S. lose its influence over Iraq after the invasion? I could be wrong. History here is not that great from 2001 to 2024. But my understanding is after we pulled out of Iraq, Obama was incredibly hesitant to help Iraq when it came to security stuff because we were so mind-fucked on any kind of foreign policy intervention. So Iraq kind of like slowly, the leaders there slowly looked towards like Russia or other people to help shore up like security stuff. And then remember too that I think al-Baghdadi was the big leader guy in Syria when ISIS started because Iraq was so fucked and destabilized. I think Baghdadi came over from northeast Syria into Iraq and started recruiting a ton of people, and that's when ISIS like exploded in strength and was like capturing like huge swaths of territory from both northern Syria and I think northern Iraq. ISIS at height of conquest map. Thanks, LOL. So these were the parts here in Syria that were controlled by ISIS, I guess. Oh, this is how much territory they lost since 2015. And then ISIS had expanded into Iraq here. Oman is another fictional country that I've literally never in my entire life heard of. I don't know what happens there. I've never heard of anything happening there. Never heard anybody travel from there. Never heard of anybody that's from there. I'm not fully convinced this place exists either. Bahrain is here. They're rich. Saddam was Sunni and an overwhelming amount 70 to 80% are Shia. They're heavily influenced by Iran. Sure, maybe, yeah. But don't get too mind fucked on that Sunni Shia shit. It's just not like the. It's not the most important thing. Like Hamas are like a Sunni Islamist organization, but they're backed by right, by the Ayatollah, by the Shia Iran. Hezbollah fights alongside Hamas, and they are a Shia organization, right? What's this green thing? The West Bank? Yeah, the green thing here is the West Bank of... The reason why it's called the West Bank is because this is the Red Sea? No, this is the Sea of Galilee up here, runs south, and this is called the River Jordan, or the Jordan River, and then the West Bank is the West Bank of the Jordan River. That's why it's called the West Bank. There's a famous bridge, and it was the site of a lot of combat, that connects over the Jordan River. I'm never remembering the name of this. Fuck, there have been battles there before. Somebody say it. Bridge from West Bank to Jordan. Oh, the Allenby Bridge. Why is it called the Gaza Strip? I have absolutely no idea. I don't know what Gaza means or where it's from, or I have no clue. What's the Jewish name for the West Bank? There is no Jewish name proper for the entirety of the West Bank, but in the southern part of the West Bank here, there are the historic lands of Sumeria and Judea. And when Jews obsess over expanding into the West Bank, that's what they're talking about. If you're fighting with a hardcore Zionist, like calling this the West Bank is like calling them the N-word. Like they'll get upset if you call it the West Bank. They'll say, "You mean Judea and Samaria?" Even though I don't even believe that extends all the way up into the West Bank area, but Judea is in the south and Samaria is in the north. Does Samaria go all the way? Does it go all the way north through the West Bank? Like I don't believe this map is correct. Somebody can tell me if I'm wrong, though. I don't know. Also, these might just be like really ancient things from, like, there might not be clean maps of like the Kingdom of Israel, so I'm not sure. Also, keep in mind, I'm giving you a low confidence take. I don't know this. Today, when we talk about a map, when we have like a country, countries exist and borders are enforced by fortresses, castles, militaries, agreements. Like they're very, very, very strong. Like this is the border of this state. I believe in earlier times, especially in places before big fortifications or castles were built, when you have like, if somebody says like, "Oh, here's the border of this territory," what they're really saying is here's the capital, and then like the influence of the police is very strong in the capital, and it extends a bit further out here, and it can kind of sort of be felt maybe out here. And even though all of this is our territory, the further you get away from the capital, it's not really like, you don't really like, you're part of that, you're in that state or country, but it's hard for like tax collectors or law enforcement or, you know, whatever the king or the city ruler would say, like you're kind of out of their control directly because it's just the further away, basically. This is called zones of control. Oh, okay, here you go. Or area of influence. It's almost like borders are arbitrary. Well, no, that doesn't mean they're arbitrary. And today borders are much more enforced because people have better power projection. It's also why capitals usually like being in the middle. Oh, sure. Are you talking about like the Ottoman age? Yeah, like before like 1900, I guess. Well, no, actually, depending on where you go in the Middle East, and probably in other parts of the world, I think it's still like that a little bit. Like in Iran, I think like, isn't northern Iran like very, 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 isn't northern Iran very, very, very mountainous? And there might be like families and roaming tribes and stuff up there. Like in Yemen, that it was like that for a long time and still arguably is. Like the Houthis were a very strong family, and it's why they've gained so much influence and power now, so. Didn't some border towns get fucked sometimes because they would be double taxed by two countries? Maybe, I don't know. I don't think you would ever be a border town, though. That sounds like it would suck. The Kurdish people live there. Are there a lot of Kurds in Iran? There might be. I don't know. That might be true. The three big Kurdish groups that I'm aware of are the KRG, which stands for the Kurdistan Regional Government in Iraq. It's the YRG, I think, are the Kurdish people in Syria, and then the PKK are the Kurdish people in Turkey. Is it YRG? I don't know what those other two stand for, though. Oh, YPG, sorry. There's 10 million Kurds in Iran. Damn, okay. Holy fuck. Wait, that's like is that the largest population of Kurdish people? I didn't know that at all. Peshmerga? I think Peshmerga just refers to the military arm of the KRG, doesn't it? Maybe I'm wrong on this. Hold on, because I feel like I said that before and it looked like it was labeled differently. Peshmerga comprised the internal security forces of the Kurdistan region, a semi-autonomous federal... Okay, yeah. The Peshmerga are just like the military for the KRG. I worked with a lot of the Kurds in Iraq. It really pissed me off that we left them high and dry. Yeah, Melina's dad does... I don't like Ultradox's job. He does like security coordination and training for people in other countries, and he spends a lot of time in Kurdistan. And he just had like just always like super nice things to say about the Kurdish people. I don't know if I've heard anybody say anything mean or bad about Kurdish people ever, actually. Sounds like they have some good foreign propaganda bullshit. Oh, but don't ask Turkish people. Yeah, Turkish people hate Kurdish people. Turkish people hate, oh my God. Turkey will be like, what? There's a... This is my historical maps. This is Syria. 100% historically, geographically accurate. The USA will be like, oh no, like Syria's got like nukes right here. They're about to launch them towards all of our allies. And Turkey will be like, holy shit, we're going to go get those nukes immediately. And they like fly planes here and they'll just like bomb all the Kurdish people. They're like, fuck, we missed. Go back and get more bombs and bomb more Kurdish people. Like, oh shit, we're going. But turn around and bomb more Kurdish. Dude, Turkey, when we talk about like, I don't know how many people know this. When we talk about like abandoning the Kurds in Syria, we didn't abandon the Kurds to Syria. We abandoned the Kurds to Turkish bombers. That's who blew them up. We didn't abandon the Kurds to Assad. We abandoned them for Erdogan to go and blow all of them up. That's what happened. The Turkish people fucking hate Kurdish people. Whew. But also, to be fair, this is low confidence interval. Okay, low confidence interval. I think the Kurdish people in Turkey are also kind of like crazy. Like I think Kurdish people in Iraq are like, oh my God, like we have like our own little like quasi semi-autonomous country and we want to work with Iraq and it's like cool and awesome. And like, this is like, you know, it'd be cool if we had a state one day, but we don't need it. But like, we're kind of working things out. And I think the PKK in Turkey are like, yes, I would be a Nazi if they also put Turkish people in concentration camps. Yes. I do terrorist attack Turkish people all day because I hate them so much. Arabs and Turks don't like them for being commies. I don't know how true that is, but... Didn't Iraqi Kurdistan want to be autonomous from Iraq, but they were stopped by Iraq? I think they wanted to be autonomous, yeah. But then Saddam Hussein was like, hey, breed this. There was a chatter in here who compared your support for Ukraine to a delusional support of Palestinians in regards to their liberation and freedom insofar as regaining the Russian-occupied territories. How would you contrast the two and justify the Ukrainian belief in regaining the occupied territories? It depends on what you're talking about there. Like, are you just talking about like the realistic chances of success? Or like, I think that Ukraine has a strong claim to their land because they had distinct, clear borders that the entire world, including Russia, recognized in 91. So, yeah, so the idea that, so the claim isn't the same. In terms of like chances of success, I mean, at this point, I don't know what Ukraine's chances of success are, but also I just don't have a good enough, I don't understand anything about Russia, actually. I don't know anything about, because like I'll read headlines and then I'll read some articles where it's like the ruble is collapsing today. It's all over. And then like 1 month later, it'll be like, why the sanctions on Russia have had absolutely no impact. And then 1 month later, it'll be like, why 40% of businesses are no longer doing business in Russia. And then the next month, it'll be like, why Russia's new relationship with China is actually so much better than it ever was with Europe. And then the next month, it'll be like, why Europe is hurting more from not having energy than Russia is from, and I have no idea. It's hard. And then I'll hear like, oh, the ruble actually has fake value because it's just internal market stuff now and they don't even exchange currency. Who knows? I truly don't know. I don't know. Fuck is this? Oh, okay. Thoughts on Tifa versus Eris? I refuse to say Aerith, and I will always refuse to say Aerith. And Eris is better. Because she wears dresses, and Tifa's a big boob slut. I don't think anybody said the sanctions have no or low impact. I think everybody agrees that it fucks them badly, but they are still able to survive. I don't know, man. I hear so many different things going on from what's going on in Russia, so who knows? What's up? Growing up in Scientology. The Atlantic argues that the ICC warrants are purely political and without any legal basis. Oh, relating to Israel? Hold on. Author name, hold on. Who's this written by? Eugene Kontorovic. Is that a Jewish name? My Jew radar is so bad. Do you have any historic examples of free speech doing objective harm to society? I mean, any kind of propaganda would qualify, no? I mean, propaganda has done harm to tons of society. I don't know how I would even qualify that. Destiny, not an econ knower here. Does the collapse of a currency only have an effect depending on the degree of the country's dependence on imports? Since all entities in the country will be using the same currency, and the currency is only collapsed compared to the world market. The issue, I think, is currencies are macroecon questions. At some point, all of your supply chains are going to, oh, no, it's this guy. Fuck me. I've argued with this guy once or twice, the author. Remember, I did the call-in with this guy. Basically, if you ever connect your imports or exports, like if you ever connect any part of your supply chain to an external market, then a massively devalued currency is going to fuck you, because as soon as things enter your country, it's going to be incredibly expensive to buy them, I think, yeah. And it's going to impact your entire supply chain. I only asked who the article was written by because I saw a thing, but it's like in the blurred out section. I don't feel like reading this article. But it says that the charges are baseless as a matter of law and fact, issued by a court with no jurisdiction. The ICC does have jurisdiction, though, because I believe that Palestine has asked for ICC jurisdiction, which means that if a country fucks with Palestine, it gives the ICC jurisdiction to issue warrants. I believe it's how that works. Now, maybe he'll argue that Palestine should never be able to, because it's not, I mean, they're UN member observer state or something? I don't remember. Maybe he'll argue that, but I don't know. Don't care. This guy's arguments were, over some of the things we spoke about, were pretty out there. But that guy is from my perspective, that guy's like a mega pro-Zionist. Very, very big Zionist guy. Is it wrong to assume that a high import economy is actually super based because you're getting cheap, real physical goods for your own fiat currency, if that makes sense? I mean, it depends. It depends. Here, okay. Macro econs, be careful. The macro econ, be careful, okay? Here's just a thing to be concerned about. This isn't necessarily bad, but it could go bad, but it just depends. Let's say that you have a country, okay? And let's say that you export $100 of goods, all right? But then let's say that you import $20,000 in goods, okay? Huge difference, okay, between your imports and exports, all right? All to one country as well, okay? The way I do this was very confusing. Okay, so technically the currency is flowing like this, right? They're spending $100 in your country and you're spending $20,000 in their country, right? The issue is that if you're in the other country, okay, you're sitting here and you're like, well, fuck, we are sitting on all this currency for country A, okay? Now, at the end of the day, depending upon how stable this country is, you could trade this currency to other countries or buy and sell things. I mean, arguably, maybe there's Forex markets, foreign exchange markets for currency, whatever. But like at the end of the day, this currency needs to make its way back to this market because this currency is able to pay taxes to this government, right? That's why our currency is so important. It's because you can pay American taxes in it. It's the only thing you can pay American taxes in it. So what do you do then when you have $19,900 of trade deficit every single month or year or whatever? You're accumulating more and more of this currency. Well, you're probably going to take this currency back and you're going to spend money here. You're going to come back to these markets and you're going to spend the money, right? In some form of an investment. Now, the only scary thing is, so I'm getting all this money. Maybe I start buying factories or I invest in new manufacturing or I do these things, which are good in a way. It helps the country. But you might be scared if you're country A, and at some point you're like, okay, well, I have all these manufacturing firms that are doing good things, right? It's increasing the GDP, the gross domestic product of my country is increasing. My workers are earning more money because they're working in these factories. But it's getting a little bit scary because country B is the foreign owner of a lot of these manufacturing firms. And maybe country B says some shit where they're like, oh, well, we actually, let's say that in a future trade deal, right? Let's say that we're negotiating with country B and we're like, hey, we noticed that you heavily subsidize, you're spending a lot of government money on your trees. Okay. So in our country, when we're trying to make trees and we're trying to sell it to you or sell it to the rest of the world, you guys are undercutting us like crazy because you're spending so much government money on your lumber industry, right? This is kind of bullshit. And then country B is like, oh, okay, well, did you want to negotiate something there? And then we're like, yeah, can you like maybe turn down the subsidies? And they're like, yeah, that's fine. But we're also going to like withdraw 50% of our manufacturing from your country then, and we're going to look elsewhere. And now you're like, oh shit. Okay, well, hold on, because you have you own a lot of the shit in our country that's kind of scary, and decisions that you make now because you have so much foreign ownership of a lot of the firms in this country that's a little bit spooky, right? Now there's like this is incredibly simplified because there's so much else going on here, right? Because theoretically this country could just take it all, expropriation. The country say, okay, well, we're just going to take those firms in. Thanks for building it. But then other countries might look at you and be like, okay, well, hold on, I'm not going to build a plant there because you might take my shit in the future, right? But this is like a very, very, very simplified view of this, but like this might be one negative external impact of running a massive trade deficit with another country. Running any trade deficit at all is not necessarily bad. Like these people coming back and investing or reinvesting in your country is not necessarily a bad thing. You're going to come back and spend DGG bucks in my country. Sure, there might be a foreign owner, but my workers are benefiting here. Other firms are benefiting here. Like maybe it frees up my labor to do more productive or other work. Like, yeah, but. If you think that opinions you don't like are propaganda that should be censored, doesn't it just mean you want a monopoly or propaganda you like? No, you just don't want people that are abusing your freedom of speech by just blatantly lying. Nobody should want that. Nobody should want people who are just blatantly lying with impunity. That should always be bad. Everybody should agree. If you can't even agree that that's bad, then you're not even you shouldn't even be having a conversation. Isn't it the government that mostly lies with impunity and gets away with it? No? Another disadvantage is if your country is sanctioned, then you might be fucked since you don't have much domestic industry. See Russia as an example. Maybe, yeah, possibly. Ever thought of getting a drawing pad that you connect to your PC for when you do on stream? I mean, I have my iPad. I'm just too lazy to use it to draw shit, I guess. Don't forget this macro econ shit. Key Northern Lion alert.
Because, like, if you have too much bread, you're like, yes, I'm such a carb-filled bread cell. Eating bread, putting butter on it, dipping the bread in the hummus, making toast, making a sandwich, cutting it up, making croutons, you know? When you have, like, extra wraps, you're like, what the fuck am I going to do with these wraps? Then the most annoying motherfucker you've never met is going to be like, if you spray them with Pam and put them in the air fryer for 8 minutes, they turn into pita chips. Man, fuck you. Nobody's doing that shit. I'm waiting until they turn blue in 2 months and I'm putting them in the compost bin. Venezuela.
Okay. True, I think. Maybe. Here, watch. Hold on. I'll grab a Red Bull. 1 sec.
Let's figure it out. Russia has not built combat icebreakers before. The development of the 23550 project is being carried out by the Almaz Central Design Bureau. In addition to the combat icebreaker.
Oh, that's an interesting point. Somebody said, it's okay to have a bit of a monopoly on knowledge and speech as long as you don't have a monopoly on violence. That's the genius of the First Amendment. Cute.
Ivan Popanin, 3 more ships are being built as part of the creation of the Icebreaker fleet. But let's take a closer look at what has just been released. The ship is 114.5 meters long, 19.5 meters wide, and has a displacement of 8,500 tons. The Icebreaker can accommodate up to 110 people, 60 permanent crew, and 50 additional sailors. The internal arrangement of the vessel is carried out at the highest level. The cabins are as comfortable as possible for the stay of sailors. The ship has a gym, sauna, swimming pool, and other recreational facilities. And the crew is carefully prepared for service on a ship that has no analogs in the world. As the chief builder of the Surface Shipbuilding Department said, I quote, "This is a multi-purpose ship. The main task initially, when it was designed, was to protect the water economic resources of the Arctic zone. The ship is armed with an AK-176 MA artillery system, 8 man pads. There is a multi-purpose helicopter base and a hangar for drones. There is also a reserved place for the launcher. Probably we are talking about the Caliber. The ship is really unique. Various latest developments have been implemented here, all of domestic production, no foreign mechanisms. Thanks to its sturdy hull, the vessel can break ice up to 1 meter and 70 centimeters thick. The Icebreaker must be tested by the end of this year, after which it will become part of the fleet and begin to perform its tasks. And let's see what the United States has. Well, for the sake of interest, the United States has a combat icebreaker, but this is only at first glance. To be honest, this ship is very old. The Polar Star Icebreaker was built back in 1976. The total engine power is 78,000 horsepower. Displacement is 12,000 tons. It is capable of breaking ice up to 2 meters. But in fact, the Icebreaker is extremely bad. It was even decommissioned for 5 years from 2007 to 2012. Only after a thorough repair, it still had to be sent sailing for lack of another one. It looks like the US Icebreaker was decommissioned in 2010. Today, Polar Star is valid only on paper. In fact, the ship should have been decommissioned long ago. During the last trip to the Arctic, the Icebreaker revealed a whole bunch of problems, which made it necessary to urgently take it to its home port. So far, the Americans do not have icebreakers, so they cannot climb into the Arctic. Although the United States is developing a new Polar Sentinel icebreaker, but this is still just a development. And all this is still in the plans, and today Russia is, in fact, the only country in the world that has an icebreaker fleet. Let's move on to another icebreaker now. What has become known about the lead icebreaker of the Leader project? The construction of the promising icebreaker of the Leader project started in the summer of 2020. It is expected that the lead nuclear-powered vessel will be put into operation in the coming years. As a result of the latest technologies and developments of Russian engineers, it will open a new page in the history of the fleet and determine the future of the Northern Sea Route and the development of the Arctic. Recently, new information about this project has appeared. Recall that the construction of the Icebreaker project 10,510 Leader is underway at the largest shipyard in Russia of the Far Eastern Zvezda complex. The commissioning is scheduled for 2027. Due to the fact that the main task of the new Icebreaker will be year-round operation on the Northern Sea route to ensure navigation and wiring of ships, special requirements are imposed on its technical characteristics. According to the terms of reference, it will have the following characteristics: length 209 meters, width 47 meters 70 centimeters, displacement 71,000 tons, maximum speed 22 knots, draft 13 meters, maximum thickness of ice passage 4 meters 30 centimeters, crew size 130 people, autonomy of the vessel in terms of provisions for 8 months. The displacement of the Icebreaker leader is greater than that of some Western aircraft carriers. So, the British aircraft carrier Queen Elizabeth has a little more than 70,000 tons with a length of 284 meters, and the flagship of the French fleet Charles de Gaulle has 42,000 tons. It is known that the nuclear-powered vessel of the 10510 liter project will be equipped with 2 new Riddam 400 reactors, which are 1.8 times more powerful than the Riddam 200 reactors installed on the universal nuclear icebreakers of the 22220 Chukotka and Yakutia project. In addition, 4 turbines and 4 rowing electric motors will be installed on it. As a result, the Icebreaker's power plants will have a capacity of 120 megawatts. This will be enough to overcome ice with a thickness of more than 4 meters at a speed of 2 knots, and 2-meter ice with a speed of up to 12 knots. And here a reasonable question arises: why do we need an icebreaker of such power? If even without it, it was recently announced that this year the 100-year-old dream of Russian polar explorers will be fulfilled, year-round navigation will open. The need to build a new icebreaker is related to the development strategy of the Northern Sea route. As you know, the NSR still has a problem with the wiring of vessels with a displacement of more than 100,000 tons and a width of more than 40 meters. This is no longer the lot of the existing Project 222.20 and older Soviet icebreakers. The new icebreaker will open up the possibility for conducting large tonnage vessels in the Arctic, as it will lay a channel in the ice up to 50 meters wide. This will allow ships with a width of up to 40 meters and deadweights of up to 100,000 tons, and according to some estimates up to 200,000 tons. In particular, it will ensure the delivery of LNG by the only Yamal-Max-class gas tankers of their kind, which are capable of operating in harsh Arctic conditions. The icebreaker leader in recent history is an icebreaker primarily for direct access to the markets of the Asia-Pacific countries. Therefore, in fact, the question of the leader is the question of Russia's place in the liquefied natural gas market. Establishing a maritime transport line through the Arctic seas is a very time-consuming job, and in order to deal with the accumulation of ice in the most difficult areas, an icebreaker of Project 10,510 liter will be needed. They plan to build 3 such giants. It becomes clear that we are talking about the possibility of conducting the largest vessels of the post-Panamax and Capesize class, whose displacement can reach 200,000 tons. But still, first of all, such a need is created exclusively by the Russian class of ships, which will soon appear on this route, and which are planned to be built in an amount of at least 15 units to begin with. Russia is the only country in the world that has nuclear icebreakers, and today they are successfully operating on the NSR. And the new icebreakers, among which the leader stands out, will definitely strengthen the Russian position in this difficult region from the point of view of climatic conditions. Well, let's also see what news in the icebreaking topic took place this year. So, in the Nizhny Novgorod region, they began to make anchors for new icebreakers.
Okay, took longer than I thought. Did we learn a lot about icebreaking? Russia is so nice. Their icebreaker ships are very cool and powerful. Destiny, thank you for showing us this wonderful news. This is literally AI Russian propaganda. Is it? Oh, Russia post-global. Oh, shit. Holy shit, the Pepsi ship. Damn, this is a big-ass boat. Holy fuck.
Due to the fact that the main task of being built according to the project of the Iceberg Central Design Bureau at the Baltic plant.
It's an AI voice, it lagged. Bro, there's so much AI content these days. I think I was on like a, I'm curious like how sophisticated. Fuck, what was I watching? I liked a video, I wanted to save it, but I don't even know if liking it saves it in your YouTube shit. It was going over like the difference between something in like the Game of Thrones book and the Game of Thrones TV show, but the way that it pronounced the character's name was so wrong. And I'm like, wait a second. This is not a person, this isn't a real person. This is not a real person speaking. It's an AI voice. And then I'm like, did a guy write the script or is it all AI or, A lot of these AI channels are actually just money farms in Africa that later get sold on a business selling website, LOL. Okay, well.
The installation of shaft.
Do you want to see something wild? Watch this and then turn the captions on.
inspections of the flight support system.
The Chinese art college entrance. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, is coincidental and unintentional. I don't understand what that means. It's AI? Oh, like all these people are AI? Destiny, you missed it. Wait, like, is this guy not drawing anything? Is that what I missed? Is this just like... Look at the pictures. I feel like chat's saying like 3 different things right now. Chat is coping. I feel like chat is saying 3 different things. People are like, oh, well, they're all drawing the same person. First of all, they're not the exact same. Number 2, that could be part of your exam if it was, theoretically, no, right? But, okay. Like, the subtitles say it's a work of fiction. Wait, hold on. This video is a work of fiction. Oh, I saw. Okay. Gotcha. I didn't see that. Weird. Okay, I don't know. Count fingers. I like how there was like a 3-month time period where they were like, oh my God, fingers mean that we're always gonna be able to tell when it's real or when it's AI because they can't do fingers. And then in like 3 months it gets solved and everybody's like, fuck, it's all over. They figured the fingers out. Is this guy cooked? Wait, what is this a picture of? Hold on. Okay. I'm sorry, but I'm depleted. Dating a 10 is not for the weak. Seriously. Should I, but... I mean, it's up to you. Please don't forget to return the shirt, baby. If you love me, you would send 150. Bae, I seriously think you need to find another... Blah. I quite literally can't fund the lifestyle you want. I'm sorry. This sounds like a sugar baby thing, right? This has to be incel bait. Well, this message. This just sounds like this sounds like a sugar daddy arrangement. A lot of times it'd be small stuff for food, Target runs, after pay payments, car note, insurance, etc. But it adds up. Also, it's a lot more than this because she has my card on Apple Pay and I use Zelle. By the way, we have talked about it. It's only so much she can do given she only makes $17 an hour. Bro, she doesn't make $17 an hour. This chick doesn't work. Destiny, this is fake, fake, fake. And another request, but I love her to death. Yes or no? I'm thinking give me 30 minutes. Crying face, crying face. I'm muting this, but all I'm going to say, it's hard to throw away 3 years. Most def, when you then invested so much into it. I'm trying to walk away. It's just hard, man. Nevertheless, I am drained, though. I think my heart and brain is just fighting against each other, all jokes aside. Okay, this is fake. Is it? I mean, if it's not fake, it sounds like he's in like a sugar daddy arrangement and doesn't realize it. Or click on the community. It's all posts like this. Bad talk uncensored. Is that what this is about? Is it all like sugar daddies or? This guy has problems, no? I mean, have they ever even met before? Have these people met in real life? It gets worse. Apparently she's funding his company and posted his screenshots in another group, Limfeo. What do you mean she's funding his company? It's mostly teenagers, mostly black, just chatting about random stuff. Girls come up, but not all the time. It's all dating content, Destiny. They aren't all about money. She quoted it and she paid for everything. Destiny, are most 10s like this or is she just a sugar baby? This is just a sugar baby. Even if you're talking to a very, 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 very attractive girl, if she's saying shit like, oh, if you love me, you'll send me money, that's not normal behavior. Even for 10s or 9s or whatever. Girls that say stuff like this, these are sugar babies. Ugh. Do I really want this? Do I care? Destiny, there are a surprising amount of young Gen Z women who have just very delusional views about money, I think. I don't think so. I think you're watching a lot of red pill content and you think like 50% of girls have like OnlyFans and they all think that or whatever. I seriously doubt that. Destiny, under what circumstances outside of being married would you send money like this? Personally, I would say, I mean, I guess it depends on if you're doing like an actual, like if you're doing like a FinDom thing, then I mean, you can do it because obviously you're getting off on it. But I would be like really careful about ever sending somebody money like this, because when you do stuff like that, you're fostering this expectation of a relationship where it's like a transactional, like I'm sending money for love, and you're in a very mind-fucked area. I'd be very, very, very careful doing that, but. Whole time, TS was a branch launch, short thread. What is TS? Thread speak? Thread something? What is... Oh, this shit. Okay. Wow, Vampire, thanks for the 5 gifted subs. Let's see. Her Instagram story is now deleted. And he was playing, he'd been funding my lifestyle for 3 years. Laughing face, laughing, crying face. You know, these hoes ain't used to getting tricked on. Her following list now versus a few hours ago. Okay, she unfollowed somebody or some people. Timmy's Instagram, where he owns a scamming group called Gray Methods. This chat is called Gray Methods because this shit I'm gonna be posting ain't illegal, but it also isn't legal. I like to call it cheating the system, and I'm gonna be honest, anything I post, you could easily sell services or whatever to other people. Now do I do that? No. Would I ever do it? No. To be honest, I use these methods for my own gain. LOL, these methods are my... What? Lastly, the brand account being made this year in November. I don't think I care. I just don't think I care that much about any of this. Mind you, I cook and clean every day for him and let him run up my credit cards to start the business that's been paying the bills. Look at this ninja. You literally talking shit but don't pay for shit at all. Okay, here you go. You did though. You said you wanted to leave, but it's hard, so go the fuck. Nobody forcing you. You forgot the part where I said my heart and brain is fighting against each other. You've been using me. I've been helping you out. Are you okay? Once again, I said that. Stop. TTM. What is that? Talk to you tomorrow. Thank this mooch. Talking to me. Stop talking to me. Okay. I built a motherfucker up, and he gonna try to play me like I wasn't there when he was door dashing, trying to make ends meet. Every time he needed some, he knew who to come to. He wouldn't have none of that shit without me. And thank you whoever told me he was on Hinge, blocked on everything. I'm over this. I'm over here bawling my eyes out because he don't want to give me the login to the brand page that I started. He's so fucking controlling, manipulative. I started a new brand page, blah, 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 blah. I mean, did she post anything of her paying for anything, or? I don't know. Don't know, don't care. Boring. Oh, shit. Who? I'm so hungry for real information, okay? Like where I see somebody talking and I'm like, oh, this guy like knows his shit. This guy's like an expert or like an actual thing or whatever. I watched some YouTube short came up with a guy talking about how to like scam somebody on your taxes. It was a good idea. I was like, oh shit, this guy knows his shit and he's an actual fucking, apparently he was a scammer. Fuck, can I find this? I'm not gonna be able to find it. Fuck, it was a YouTube short. And I was reading the comments, and supposedly some guy was talking about how he'd get some Mexicans, he'd pay them $900 to do roofing. And then the way that he would pay them, go into your shorts history, it's separate from your watch history. I don't know if I think I deleted all or I don't know if I keep like a history on any of my shit. Shorts. Settings. Fuck. Oh no, saving your watch history. I do. Oh shit. Hold on. Wait, are these for YouTube videos and not shorts? Wait, fuck, where's my shorts history? Hold on. The top on mobile. Wait, where? Okay. I'm on home. Where do I go? Why delete your shorts history when it's all house clips? I think when I was using my YouTube account over here, I think I just had it auto. I just wasn't recording my history on anything. Just sandboxing all my shit. Wait, go to history, and then it's all the way at the very top of the history section. Don't scroll down. Okay. Well, wait, do I click like settings and look at manage all history? Or like, I don't even know where the history thing is. Oh, history, view all. Sorry, I'm retarded. Oh, shorts. Okay, hold on. Oh my God. I have an embarrassing amount of, I have a problem, okay? Just like going through my history.
Father gave me a choice, and I made it. I could never be a star, so I am born.
This stuff is poisoning my mind, and it's causing so much resentment every single day.
Get out of my way. King's orders, Your Grace.
Okay, Jesus. All right, sorry, hold on. I'm finding this. It's so much Game of Thrones. Oh, this was sick. I don't even know if this is a real song. Wait, is it? Hold on, wait. Fuck, hold on. I should go through my history every day. 1 second. It says type beat, so I feel like it's just some random dude that's like making shit. Is it even like a full song? 32 views. What the fuck? Is this like an actual song, or is there some? It might even be fucking AI music at this point. I don't even know.
Este es otro temón de flacos hombres.
Oh, what the fuck? Some guy in Kick Chat found it. Okay, warning. Okay, so heads up. What this guy is saying will actually work, but this is also tax evasion. Okay, so tax avoidance strategies. Tax avoidance is fine. You're optimizing your everything to minimize how much you owe in taxes. Tax avoidance is good, is fine, acceptable. Tax evasion is illegal. You're evading taxes using some illegitimate means. Okay, so what this guy's saying would work, but this is illegal. Okay.
Group of Mexicans come and put a new roof on the house.
Every time I see like these stupid business things, 99% of the time, people are just stupid. They don't. I can tell you've never ran a business. You don't file any paper. You have no idea what you're at. This would work though. This is good shit.
Group of Mexicans come and put a new roof on the house, and they charge $900. So you put $900, but you...
Now, I will say that dollar amount is kind of sketch. I don't know what the fuck new roof you're getting for $900, but whatever.
Group of Mexicans come and put a new roof on the house, and they charge $900. So you put $900, but you don't put it all the way on the line. You put it farther back. So you go to give them the thing. You go, hey, you know what? Are you going to deposit this? Like, are you going to go cash it? I can cash it. I got the cash right now. And they go, yeah. I'm going to cash it. I go, well, you want me to cash it? Yeah. Okay, well, here, sign the back of it. Whatever your whatever numbers you have for your license,
Oh, maybe that's labor only and he's supplying the materials. Oh, actually, that could be true. I didn't even think about that. That could be it, sure.
For your license, if they have a license, like write your license number, whatever, your social security number, whatever, but write all things so that I can 1099 you at the end of the year. Yeah, no problem. These roofers and stuff, and they're not licensed, so they're never going to claim any of this money. So I can 1099 them. So I give them $900, take the check, and I write $3,900. And then I go deposit it. It comes out of my business account into my personal account. And it looks like I just wrote him a check for $3,900. And the next check, I do the same thing.
Daddy! That would work. That's a good way to get money from a business to an ordinary account. You're basically cleaning the money. No, actually, that wouldn't even be cleaning all the money. You're just illegally, moving it from one account to another. Is this a real podcast? I used to have a guy in my complex who did fake podcast content for his build your brand style influencing destiny. Oh.
Group of Mexicans.
Well, I think, because this is titled fake payment scam, right? But explain how it works, please. Yeah, so the way that this would work is, okay, so right now I've got a business account. Let's say that I have $1 million in it, okay? And I have a checking account. Let's say I have $1,000 in it, all right? If I want to get money from my business account to my checking account, for me personally, and for business is going to be more complicated ways to do this, there's basically two ways for me to get money from here to here. The first way is I have a payroll company that issues paychecks to me, okay? And so they'll pay me money from my business account into my checking account. So if they pay me $10,000, maybe they do withholdings for taxes. It's all, the IRS sees it. It's all accounted for. It's like, okay, cool, right? However, okay, that's one way to do it. A second way to do it would be to just take disbursements from your business. So you pay federal, state taxes on it. Okay, whatever. So you just do it directly. You pay taxes on it, right? Okay. But, okay, now check this out. Let's say that I go to somebody else. Okay. Let me see if I can follow this scam. Okay. Let's say that I go to somebody else like, hey, I want to pay you $1,000 for work. All right. And they're like, okay, cool. Yeah, let's do it. So I'm going to pay you $1,000. All right. And now let's say I have the check and I'm like, hey, just curious, do you want me to cash this check for you? Do you want the cash for it? And they're like, yeah, I do. Yeah. Can you cash it for me? That'd be great. Okay, cool. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my bank and I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to withdraw. What I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer $1,000 into my checking account. Okay. And I'm going to, so what I'm basically doing, so I've created a taxable event here. I'm taking $1,000 in disbursements basically, but I'm actually writing off this $1,000. So it's not taxed income. I'm writing it off because I'm paying it to somebody else. And I'm going to account for that at the end of the year on, it's called Form 1099 for contractor pay. All right. Well, okay. What if I go to those same people and I'm like, hey, $1,000 check. Do you want me to cash this for you? Do you want me to just like get you the cash or whatever? And they're like, yeah, sure. Okay, cool. What if I go back to my bank and I say, hey, for this check, I'm going to make this out for $5,000. I'm going to cash this for $5,000. Okay. And then I'm going to go back to the people and I'm going to give them $1,000. All right. But when I 1099 them at the end of the year, I'm going to give them a 1099 for $5,000. But these are poor Mexican, maybe illegal immigrants, whatever. These guys don't file taxes. So I've got a 1099 showing the government, hey, look, I paid these guys $5,000 for work. If they don't file taxes, that's not on me. What do you want me to say? I don't know. I paid them that money. But you didn't actually pay them that money. You pocketed it. Now, the way that this comes back to you is that if these guys do pay taxes, when they go to file, and the government says, hey, actually, if there's a huge discrepancy here, they're going to go like, oh, we didn't get that money. That's bullshit. And now the IRS has you for tax fraud, which is really bad. Or I don't know if the IRS will come after you if the person that you're paying doesn't file taxes. I'm not sure if it works that way or not, but yeah, that's basically how this scam, would work. You're basically going to your bank, you're getting money from your business account, claiming that you're paying somebody else on a 1099, and then you 1099 the person knowing that they're never going to file taxes, so you can just lie about how much you paid them, and then that money that you say you paid them, you're just basically taking out for your own personal benefit. Yeah. Don't you have to remove the whole $5,000 from your bank account as well? Yeah, you're taking it out of your business account. What information do you write into a 1099? Do you not have to verify at all who you're writing that to? To fill out a Form 1099, I think you need first name, last name, business address, tax ID or social security number, and a date, I guess, to fill out a 1099. Go to the IRS, ask you for a receipt for the work or an invoice if you do get audited. If you get audited, they will, but otherwise they won't. But also, I mean, you can just fake the invoice as well if you're already committing tax fraud, right? So you have to have the name and address here. You need your social security number or tax ID, their social security number, tax ID. I'm sorry, this is your name and stuff. And then this would be their name, their street address, their town. And then an account number. I don't think this is needed. And I think normally for 1099s, you're paying out in a, is it royalties? I don't know what the box is. This is dividends and distributions. Oh, this is a 1099 div. This is for investments. There's different types of 1099s or whatever, but. This would be box 1 for non-employee compensation. If you have small capital gains, would it be necessary to report? As long as you're making over $600, I believe you have to file taxes, yeah. How does Destiny see Kick Chat if he's not in Kick Chat? I see everything and I am in Kick Chat. Are you not supposed to present actual bills to claim these deductions? You don't have to. I mean, unless you get audited, the government is not going to ask you for all your paperwork. You just file your taxes and you write line items on your tax forms. So it's basically evading tax by claiming you've spent more on expenses than you actually have. Yes, correct. Does a normal person have to worry about getting audited? Unfortunately, I feel like if you get the earned income tax credit, I think there's a requirement to audit a certain percentage of these tax filers, which I think is just a huge waste of money because they don't usually earn that much money. I think it's a waste of money, but yeah. Apparently this guy went to jail. The guy that made the guy in that short made millions from calling the Social Security offices and getting fake Social Security numbers for his children and using them to commit real estate fraud. LOL, kind of genius. Oh, wait. I thought it was a woman that I heard walk through this. Or maybe it was this guy. Talked about calling around to go through so many places and social engineering, basically finding out if you could just get the right document from one place, you could go to the DMV and get a license, and you could use a license to get an apartment, and if you had an address and a license, you could use it to apply for some federal form, and if you had that federal form, there's a really roundabout way to. Am I making this up? Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Wasn't this on a podcast with Lex Friedman or something? Maybe? Ultimately, the goal was to get a fake Social Security number or tax identification number, I think is what it's called, right? There needs to be a risk of getting caught. Otherwise, there would be no reason not to cheat, and everybody would be doing tax fraud. Yeah, maybe it's just you have to balance it out, right? Because, like for instance, we used to be really big on, in some states, you would drug test people to make sure that people on welfare weren't just spending their money on drugs. But I'm pretty sure in every single instance where that was tried, you ended up spending way more on drug testing than you ever saved by catching people doing drugs. Like the percentage of people is pretty low, but I don't know. What are some tax avoidance strategies that you employ? Tax avoidance strategies. Unfortunately, most of my income is like pretty ordinary. It's pretty hard for me to do much. My effective tax rate is really high. I get fucked. Yeah, I think you have to be more, real estate gives you like fancy ways to kind of like S-corp memes. I think the S-corp stuff can help you save money. It's pretty advantageous when you're in like the 100 to 200,000 earning range, but once you get past that, you're not really, it doesn't matter that much. Yeah, most of my income is just straight money that I make online, and then whatever I pay myself out of my company. So there's not really much I can do. Have you ever preferred income tax over sales tax? I mean, personally, I think income tax is better. I mean, from a personal financial standpoint, I'd prefer a sales tax. Obviously, I'd pay way less tax, but I mean, that's probably not good for the government. Do you get double taxed, corporate and personal, or no? No, nobody gets double taxed. People that say double tax usually don't know how taxes work. It's not, yeah. Can you write off the rent that you pay for your studio? Yes. For your personal streaming setup, I think I might be able to do, I think it's called the home office deduction. I don't remember if I take that anymore. I might have stopped taking it because I think that that's like one of the highest like risk of audit tax things. So I don't know. I don't even know if I take that one anymore. Living in Florida seems like a good way to avoid tax. No, I mean, it helps you avoid state taxes, but you still get big federal and FICA things. Is progressive income tax bad? A lot of people I know are scared to ask for raises because it would put them in a higher tax bracket and they would earn less money. No, that's not how that works. Fuck, I feel like we have like every 6 months we have to explain this. Just as like a quick thing, the way that it works in a tax bracket is you're taxed on the next dollar at a certain rate. Okay, so what am I even drawing? I don't know why. I don't need to draw anything. Let's say that just a real quick thing, because a lot of people believe this and it's not true, okay? If you make $58,000 and the top tax bracket is 22%, it's not that as soon as you make $44,726, it's not that like, oh no, all of my income is subject to 23% tax or 22% taxes. Every dollar that you earn past this is taxed at that percentage. You'll never earn more money and then all of a sudden you're earning less money because you earned a little bit more and now you're in a higher tax bracket. It doesn't work that way. If that makes sense. Is corporate tax also progressive? If so, wouldn't expensing enough stuff be a viable way to drop down a bracket? I don't know if, I think, isn't a corporate tax just like a flat tax? Are there multiple brackets? I don't know. I don't have a C Corp, so I don't know anything about corporate taxes or from a personal level. Federal corporate tax rate is 21%. I think this is just flat on all income. I don't think it goes up or down, no? Oh wow, we even have a cute little video explaining this.
Boss, please don't give me a raise this year. Why? I make $41,000. If I get a raise, I'll now be paying 22% taxes versus the 12% now. That's not how it works. What do you mean? You'll only be paying the higher taxes on the money you make over $41,000.
There you go.
Okay. So you'll pay 10% on the first $10,000 you make, then 12% on the next $31,000, then 22% on anything over $41,000. Wow, I feel like school should have taught us this.
Can donating money to charity help with taxes? I mean, kind of, but not really. Like, you don't get taxed on the money that you donate, but you don't have the money. So people that are like, oh, they're just doing this for tax avoid. Like, I mean, okay. House clips.
So I ended up going to Charlotte, North Carolina.
Can you donate to your own charity? I mean, if it's a registered charity, I mean, I don't see why not, unless there's a specific tax code that prevents you from doing it. Aren't those donations tax deductible? Yeah, but you don't have the money anymore. Like if I have $100 and I donate that $100 to charity, I'm not taxed on the $100, but it's because I don't have the $100 anymore. What am I? It's not helping me.
We rent an apartment. We decide to run a scam in South Carolina. So I go to Columbia, South Carolina, and in between this period of time, we go to Las Vegas. And when we go to Las Vegas to drop off a bunch of money to.
Can losing money on stocks help reduce your taxes, like sell a portion of your holdings at a loss and deduct? I don't know if you can apply a capital gains loss to like an ordinary income tax deduction. I think capital gains and capital losses have to stay on the capital gains and losses tax sheet, I think, but I could be wrong on that.
Becky's son's father, who's taking care of her son. We drop off some money there. We go and we start, and while we're there, it's like, hey, there's homeless people here. So
You could donate an item to charity and have an appraiser massively overvalue it before you donate it. Sure, I mean, if you want to engage in scams and shit, that's fine. But that's not a problem with donating, and that's not a problem with write-offs for charity. That's just scams. I mean, if you want to do illegal scam shit, there's a million ways that you could save money on. Yeah.
So you're always, usually I don't feel bad telling these stories. You make me feel bad.
I'm sorry. My judgment is showing. No, but you have to be collecting identities, I guess, to be constantly creating new identities.
So I got my survey forms. So I go and, we go out and we're taking.
I bought NVIDIA back in January and I want to buy more. If I buy more, does that reset when I can sell if I want to avoid short-term capital rates? I believe that your broker, careful, don't take this as one, you should go and verify this, but I believe that your broker will allow you to elect whether you're doing like FIFO or not. So FIFO meaning like first in, first out, meaning if you bought something like a year ago and then you buy more security and then you sell securities, it'll be the ones that you bought a year ago and not current ones, I think. However, I think you also have to be careful because I believe there are rules around wash sales, meaning if I buy 1,000 shares of something in a year, I can't buy 1,000 shares and then sell those last 1,000 shares because it's considered a wash sale. I don't think that you are allowed to do that. I don't think so. I could be wrong though, but.
I'm taking service and I end up going up to this guy. There's like 2 or 3 guys that are standing on like a bench or sitting next to a bench or something. And I see him and I walk up and one guy gets up and he comes over. He's like, hey, what do you need? And I went, I'm taking surveys for the Salvation Army to determine where we place our next homeless facility. And the guy goes, oh, I'm not interested. And they always said that. And I said, it pays $20 cash right now. It'll take 5 minutes. And they're like, $20 cash right now? I was like, yeah. I show them the cash. They go, okay, yeah, what do you need? Name, date of birth, social security number. So when I get to criminal record.
When people are talking about tax cuts through charity, could they be referring to big retail businesses asking for money for charity at checkout? Yeah, but that's not helping them at all. They get that money, so it would show up on their balance sheets, and then they donate that money, so it goes off their balance sheets by the tax deduction. So it's not like helping them.
The guy, he says, criminal record. He's like, yeah, I've been arrested. I've been arrested like 3-4 times for he said.
But does it reduce tax liability? No. Or I mean, like, it would just reduce the tax liability by the amount of money that you had. Like, if I donate $100 to a company and then they donate that $100 to somebody else, then they would have to show the income of $100, and then they'd reduce their tax liability by $100 by donating the money. So they're reducing their tax liability, but just to account for the extra money that you donated, then they donated away. If they donate the money that people gave, do they get to put it on their balance sheet so they didn't pay the donation, but they get the tax benefits? No, they have to account for that money as income, and then they donate the money so that that's why the tax deduction exists. Because if I give $1,000 to a company to donate to somebody else, they're going to have to account for that $1,000 in income. And now they have to pay taxes on it. But if they donate that $1,000 forward, then they write it off. So they don't have to pay income on money they no longer have, right?
for prostitution. He said, but they're like misdemeanors. And I went, okay. And it was like, okay, well, prostitution, to me, women get charged with prostitution, you know? Men get charged with solicitation. I went, prostitution? And he said, yeah. He said, I offered to blow an undercover cop for $20. He said, that's what I thought you were coming out here for. And I was like, no, bro. I said, okay. And he's like, yeah. He said, he goes, I mean,
not sure how real appraisal fraud is, but I've read that that the rich will overvalue more subjectively valuable items/services and take a huge tax cut for something not actually that value, e.g. pieces of art, of self-help work. Maybe it's possible. I don't know. I feel like there are ways to catch that. But I mean, like, that's just tax fraud at that point. There's lots of different ways to do tax fraud if you really want. But like, I feel like there'd be a lot of different questions that would be asked. Like, let's say, for instance, let's say that I draw a picture, or I have like this Red Bull, and I was like, oh, this Red Bull, I'm going to donate it and say it's worth $1 million. So I get $1 million tax write-off. If I ever get audited, I feel like the first question the IRS is going to be like, oh, you donated that $1 million asset? When did you buy that $1 million asset? I wouldn't have any paperwork for that. I'm like, oh shit, I bought this Red Bull for $1 or whatever, or $2. Like, fuck me. And then also the organization that gets it, they would have to sell that for $1 million or donate it for $1 million as well? Or do they just hold it on their books and it's valued at $1 million? Can charities just accept an infinite amount of donate? Like, I don't know. That just seems like it'd be a cluster. But maybe I'm sure people do this to some extent. It wouldn't surprise me if people like inflate it a little bit, because I don't know. But I don't know. I'm not saying this is impossible. Maybe it does happen more than I'm aware of. It just seems like messy. It's just tax fraud, right? If you can pay an appraiser to give you an inflated value, how is it tax fraud? Because the only thing that inflated valuation is helping you is to cheat money on your taxes, because you're donating, you're giving the money away afterwards. It's tax fraud, right? Collectibles have special rules against donations. Oh, okay, maybe, I don't know.
A girl's got to do what a girl's got to do. You know, and he made some comment or something. I was like, oh, okay. Yep. So I jot down the rest of it. We're good. I give him $20. I get in my car. I leave. We get back to North Carolina. I order all of his documents. His name was Gary Sullivan. I then go to South Carolina. When I go to South Carolina, I get a real estate agent. We drive around for a day. We look at like 5 or 6 houses. I put 5 owner financing contracts on 5 different houses. So I get him. He writes up 5 contracts. All of them I'm asking for owner financing. I'll put down 10%. I want owner financing. 2 of them end up coming back and saying, yes, we'll do it. I have 2 closings. One of them's a house that's worth like $225,000. I put down 25 grand. Another one's $110,000. I put down 11,000. So I buy these 2 houses. I then satisfy the loans on both the houses. Everything seems like it's going okay, although Becky's a lunatic. At this point, she's had so many, she won't take her medication. She's had so many outbursts and by this time we've had plastic surgery. Like, she's gotten plastic surgery. She's gotten a boob job. She's gotten liposuction. I mean, all kinds of stuff. So
look way different? Like appearance changes, or
thinner, better looking, you know, just tightened everything up, I guess. You know, she'd had a kid, and she was 33, 34. I don't know how she was, 20, 32, 33, I don't know, roughly my age. So yeah, I thought she looked, you know, she lost like 15 pounds. Like, she was, not because of the surgery, but just in general, we're just working out. We're going mountain climbing. We're, you know, riding bikes. We're doing, you know, fraud's not a full-time job. So, you know, we have plenty of time. So we're goofing off. And, but she's also a lunatic. You know, she's getting the cops called. She's able to go out, and she's able to stay stoned 24 hours a day. She's going out with friends, drinking. I never leave the house. You know, even to this day, I really barely ever leave the house. I'm very much a homebody kind of person. So like the idea that I'm able to make my living doing YouTube and I'd never have to leave my house, I love that. I don't ever go anywhere except for the gym and back home. That's it. So what happens is I've actually moved her out of my apartment. Like, I had an apartment downtown, 30-story building. Actually move her into another apartment. She's that much a lunatic. We can't even be in the same place. Multiple times I've tried to leave her. She's called me up and begged me to come back. It's horrible. So I end up buying a couple houses in Columbia, South Carolina. I satisfy the loans on the houses. I've got an ID, not a driver's license, but an ID in the name of Gary Lee Sullivan. And I refinanced those houses, because keep in mind, they were owner financing. But they also had mortgages. So there's something called a wraparound mortgage. So these guys did wraparound mortgages. So let's say you buy a house for $250,000, and the bank lends you $200,000, and then you owner finance the house to me.
Wow, Waterbird Willie, thanks for the tier 5 sub.
So I give you 50 grand down, but I'm not able to get a loan from the bank to pay off your mortgage. So what we do is you do a wraparound mortgage. So I'll pay you your mortgage, and you pay the bank. So there is a second mortgage on the property, but it's called it's wrapped around your first.
That's legal?
Yeah. So I wouldn't lie to you. So these have wraparound mortgages. So
you're always selling, and you're good at it.
So I satisfy the loans, the owner finance loans, the wraparound mortgages, and I satisfy the loans the original loans that these people took out on their own mortgages. And one of them, by the way, I sat at, you have to sign as the president of the bank, right?
Yeah.
So I sign it as C. Montgomery Burns, which is the aging tycoon in the guy that owns the power plant in the Simpsons TV show.
Yeah.
So I signed that and I notarize it, which I thought was cute. I actually wanted to sign all of them cartoon characters, and Becky was screaming her head off and wouldn't let me do it, right? Like I wanted to do all the Simpsons, right? But she wouldn't let me do it. She's screaming and hollering. So I ended up, nobody knows who C. Montgomery Burns is. So I sign it, notarize it. All of those are satisfied. I then go to the multiple banks and I start refinancing all these properties multiple times. So I'm applying for these loans.
Okay, I'm not. Sorry, fuck. I woke up late today. I didn't do my messages or anything, so. But I can't follow this. I can't follow financial shit while I'm also doing other stuff.
What's this? Looks expensive.
This is some new bedding.
David, didn't I just tell you to save your money?
I think we've seen this before.
Yeah, I am testing this out for the stores, so work is paying for it.
Work is paying for your bedding?
I was gonna leave, but now I don't want to. So.
What is that? Is that a new lamp?
Yeah, I'm thinking of
never
bringing
mind.
homeware into the store, so that's a write-off.
That's a write-off?
Yeah.
Do you even know what a write-off is?
Yeah, it's when you buy something for your business and the government pays you back for it.
Oh, and who pays for it?
Nobody. You write it off.
Who writes it off?
I don't know. The write-off people. What? Why are we having this conversation?
So if I need...
This is so frustrating because this is how people talk about it. Like, oh, it's just a write-off. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean it's just a write-off? It's like, well, you save money on your taxes. Well, yeah, but you don't have that money anymore. You understand you have to buy it to write it off, right? You have to spend the money to write it. Like, you're just writing it off because you don't want to owe tax on money you no longer have. It's like, no, it's a write-off. Like,
No, the write-off people. What? Why are we having this conversation?
So if I need booze to get through my day, I can just write that off?
That's a stretch.
But the skincare products you got this morning, those are a write-off.
What skincare products? You purchased skincare products?
Okay. I am the face of the company. If I have acne, what does that say about the legitimacy of the store?
That's not a write-off. That's not a write-off. This? Not a write-off.
Oh, well, the bedding's non-refundable, so...
David, a write-off is a business expense used to reduce your taxable income.
Okay, well then, why isn't it called a tax write-off?
It is! It is! You can't just buy things for yourself and write them off.
Well, then I'll return some things. There's not enough space in here for the massage chair anyway.
I should get back to work, just in case any more of your packages arrive.
Is this my stereo?
okay, I hadn't seen that before. I think this is what I saw. Maybe?
Is this my stereo?
Oh, hey, you got it.
Hey, what happened to my stereo? It's all smashed up.
That's right. Now, it looks like it was broken during shipping, and I insured it for $400.
But you were supposed to get me a refund.
You can't get a refund. Your warranty expired 2 years ago.
So we're gonna make the post office pay for my new stereo now?
It's a write-off for them.
How is it a write-off?
They just write it off.
Write it off what?
Jerry, all these big companies, they write off everything.
You don't even know what a write-off is.
Do you?
No, I don't.
But they do. And they're the ones writing it off.
Wish I had the last 20 seconds of my life back.
Wow, Rammo. Thanks for the one gifted YouTube sub. Oh, you blame that on X? Give me a break, James Gunn. The government literally censored Americans on every platform for years, and you want to talk trash about true things on here. What's even funnier is that all it takes is you saying it's not true, like you've done with other rumors. So why don't you just do that instead of making it this platform's fault? What's going on here? James Gunn says the Superman trailer has been delayed because of the new Kendrick Lamar GNX album. I was working on the final edit, and then I got distracted. I see less true things here every day. Okay. I'm correct, it seems your father just died, and I'm sorry about that. So I understand you being upset, but I was talking about the internet, not about X, and the original poster was making a joke, and so was I. So if that's what you were going with, James, saying you was mentioning the internet instead of X, fine, I'll take that. Doesn't change the fact about some of the things I said. Now, I do understand why you might have a problem with X, considering briefly being fired over what was the deliberate jokes about the Holocaust, pedophilia, 9/11, and sexual assault. But hey, wish you the best of luck, James. Good luck with your ongoing ventures. Okay. This is when he got... This is a reference, by the way, to when James Gunn got canceled by the right, by Mike Cernovich, I think, led this, over edgy tweets and shit that he'd made like 12 years earlier, I think. These are tweets from like 2008 or something. Or it was some show that he did a long, long, long time ago. He had to step back, I think, from directing Guardians of the Galaxy 2 as a result of this. So cringe. This is like a go-to, though, when people say, like, the right doesn't engage in cancel culture. Everybody cancels people. Just a matter of if you're canceling them for good or bad things.